we're thinking is we need to plan out where our shoes will go.
This does seem like kind of table-ish height.
But this is pretty cute looking this way. Hi everyone, we're in the sunroom now and we're brainstorming ideas for how we can lay it out. As you can see, it's like a blank slate at the moment. What we're gonna do is, what we're thinking is we need to plan out where our shoes will go, and then maybe like how we can utilize this space as like a lounge space or a reading room or something like that. I think like logically it makes the most sense to have our shoes be like somewhere right when we come in the door. So maybe we put some shoes here or there. Over here is where we're thinking maybe could be the some banquet seating like along here.
Yeah, we drew up in like the Procreate plan like some type of seating where you could like sit down here.
Can imagine having like a coffee break here. Like if we had a little table, could be kind of cute. I guess you wouldn't really be like looking outside as much, but this is pretty cute looking this way. What's nice about over here is that because it has like 3 sides, it might be a better spot because then you could like put seating on this side and actually like look out the window. We could possibly take down these tables, but we are renting. I don't know like what's underneath there and like how bad it'll look if we took all these screws out.
True.
So we might just want to leave those there and use it as like table space and like where to put plants and stuff.
For sure. This does seem like kind of table-ish height. If you had like a chair or something in here, you could use this as like a desktop. It's like kind of already built in.
Yeah.
It's not like the nicest surface, but
those are some just like initial ideas.
yeah. Now that we've moved in, we started reflecting back on the design of the sunroom, and we made some alterations to that design, and we just wanted to kind of share some of those with you before we get into building out that space. So one of the first things that we noticed was that here in the bedroom, we actually have the single only closet on the first floor. So that's housing like all of our shirts and coats and everything. And to relieve some of that space, we thought we would actually move some of that storage into the sunroom and add like a coat rack in there. The other thing we wanted to do is think about a space where Judy can do some hobby work, specifically starting like a stained glass studio. And we were thinking of actually using this space over here as, I guess a place to kind of build that out, to have a dedicated space for working on those hobby projects. So let me just pull up on the floor plan a quick little sketch on what those look like. So I'll turn off this first design, and essentially we're thinking about adding, like I said, like a coat rack on this side, so that when we walk in, we can take off our shoes and then also just hang up like our coats and different things whenever we get into the house. Usually we're coming in, and in the rainy season we have wet clothes and stuff like that, and it's good to kind of treat this space as like a little mud room where we kind of do everything we need to do. And then we have essentially this space over here which we want to like redesign into a hobby space. And this little piece here is a table. We actually have like this extra desktop that we got for free, so we were thinking about just using that in the space.
It'll be like removable and just use the existing platform that's there as like a base to hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly. And then this chair as well, we actually have an extra rolly chair anyways, so we're thinking about just using it in this space. We'll actually make it seem purposeful, whatever it's sitting in the sunroom, as part of that studio space. Oh, right. And one last thing we want to add to this sunroom is just a place to catch our gloves and hats and stuff. So whenever we come inside, when it's cold out, we can take all that stuff off along with our shoes and just drop them into this nice little basket here. So we have just gloves, small things like a little umbrella, quick and easy to go, but it's all contained into this one little basket.
So one other functional thing that we wanted for this room is just a place to gather all of our dog's things that he needs when we like go for a walk and when we come back inside and we want to clean him off. So we have this box that we're gonna leave right here next to the door just to like keep all his things contained. We have his towel, a rain jacket, his leash and harness, some baby wipes, and extra poop bags. So this box just keeps everything looking tidy and nice right near the front door. And that will live right here next to our shoes.
Okay, so here's the final setup of this part of the sunroom as we kind of optimized it after living here for a little bit. So we did end up adding a few more just plants here near the window. And then also, as you saw, kind of put the shoes up against this wall over here as well. So this kind of works the best for us whenever we're walking in. We can kick our shoes off here. And then moving back towards the far end, we actually decided not to do a banquette seating here. That project kept on getting kicked off down the line a little bit. And then eventually we ran into a free chair on the side of the road and it kind of fit really well into this space. So that's why we have this now set up here. And it serves a similar function sitting next to the window with good light. We can read or have like a coffee out here or something. And it also provides a good place for some of our older guests, like parents and grandparents coming over to sit down and take off their shoes whenever they do come. So the chair is a good find. And the last thing that we ended up putting over here was this coat rack storage. So this does function as more of like a mud room type of place. So we're coming in, taking off our shoes and also like wet coats, umbrellas and stuff like that. So we wanted to put the coat rack here to catch most of our coats and stuff, as well as some other things like our motorcycle helmets and some of the bags and other utility items. So this coat rack has been nice just to kind of set up at the far end to kind of store a bunch of that stuff as well.
Welcome to my stained glass studio. Here you can see the result of our plans to turn this into a stained glass station. What we've done here is we've added a tabletop that we got for free, just to make the surface like bigger and easier to work on. And I had this chair already, this desk chair, which is nice because I can move it up and down to adjust to make it ergonomic. And just some stuff like a lamp, so if it gets a little dark. But honestly, like part of the reason I wanted the stained glass station in here was because of the great natural light that we already get. It's really good just to be surrounded by the garden and provides great inspiration for whatever piece I'm working on. And speaking of inspiration, I have a piece of stained glass that I did not make, but is here to just remind me of what we're doing here and give me some good vibes to go off of. Anyways, other than that, we have storage for all my functional things like my grinder and things like that. It's not very cute, but it's very functional. We also have a spot for the random pieces of mirror that I found outside that I will also be turning into something. So yeah, and our little dog Io can watch me from here. So it's just a great overall space for working stained glass. Thank you so much for joining us as we made over our sunroom.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun putting this video together, and if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and stick around for our next video where we're going to be putting together our home office desks.
You won't want to miss it.
See y'all there.
Bye.